Hello and welcome to Small Business 21st Century and today's segment of Build Your Difference. My name is Pierre Walters. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Brand Desk, where we work directly with visionaries to help build businesses and brands. On today's episode, I want to answer a few user-submitted questions from business owners like you, me, who are focused on solutions to common problems that entrepreneurs face in establishing themselves and engaging with their communities. The first question I've got today is, and this is a great one, what are the critical elements of an effective website that can help entrepreneurs connect better with their audience? And this is one that can definitely vary depending on the kind of business you have and the kind of website that you are building or using for your customers. But I would say for a typical situation where your website is kind of like the billboard for your business, it's to attract customers, to get them in so that you can help them probably offline or over the phone or directly on site. I would say that your website should satisfy the 6 curiosities. Now, what are those 6 curiosities? Well, the 6 curiosities are, number 1, who are you? So your website should clearly explain who you are or who the business is. Number 2, how can you help? So who you are, and how can you help? And that's got to be real quick, real succinct, right there above the fold. The first thing that someone sees when they go to your website really should be who you are and how can you help. The third thing is, what do you do? Explain what it is that you do. That might be your mission, that might be maybe your vision statement, or a brief summary of the types of services that the business offers. Number 4, your service. So this would be where you break down and you go into detail. Hey, these are the specific ways that we can help bring whatever solution it is that you might be looking for. So whatever that solution is, here's how we break that down into services, and here's how we provide that for you in an easy to digest way. This is a great space for you to put your pricing, your details that people need to consider when they go in and press that buy button. Learn. I always say, make sure that your website has some clear resources on it, an area where people can learn things. It doesn't cost them anything, but they're learning from you because you're the expert on whatever it is that they're providing. Excuse me. So I often say, have a resources page, or excuse me, have a blog page or a article page where you have listings of just maybe frequently asked questions, or maybe common breakdowns that people who are typically engaging in whatever it is that you're looking to provide might be curious about. On my website, I keep a blog, and on that blog, I talk about a variety of different things. But my goal is to make sure that every blog article has something useful, that someone can learn and take something away from. And finally, engage. So the last curiosity is, how can I engage? And that's going to be your call to action. That's going to be, how can I get started? What can I do? What's the next step? Maybe I'm not ready to spend right now, but what can I do besides buy that allows me to engage? For most people, that might be having a newsletter, having an area where people can sign up to join your newsletter or to get updates by email through email marketing. So to recap, the 6 curiosities are who, how, what, your service, learn, and engage. All right. So that's a great question. Now we're going to move on to the next question. How can entrepreneurs leverage social media to foster genuine community engagement? Are there specific strategies that you recommend? And I'm going to say, yeah, there is a specific strategy that I recommend, but I mean, this is social media. So really, I would encourage you to be innovative, throw paint at the wall, see what sticks with your customers or with your audience. I mean, it's social media. You are more than welcome to experiment. But here's what I have found to be extremely effective, and that is to follow these four pillars. The first pillar is authenticity. Be authentic. Post content that displays your authentic self or your brand's authentic self, okay? Authenticity really makes the difference. So that's pillar number one, is authenticity. Pillar number two, joy. People love joy, and there's not enough joy in the world, especially on social media. I mean, negative news sells, and we understand that, and you can really stand out by focusing on joy. So maybe find posts or create posts that you know can introduce joy into the lives of people who are scrolling and stumble upon your post. The third pillar is helpful. Make sure that what you're posting is actually helpful. So don't just say, hey, click here or go to my website, but think about what could actually be helpful to someone right now without them needing to go to my website or make a purchase. What's actually helpful? So again, to recap, the first pillar would be authenticity. The second pillar would be joy. The third pillar is being helpful. And the fourth pillar are testimonies. That's right. I really don't think you can go wrong with testimonies. Testimonies, which would be feedback, other customer feedback. If you've got some video, if you've got some written testimonials, some feedback on your website that's positive, you could take that and package that into a great social media post. You can say, here's what our customers are saying, or here's what this person said when they bought this particular product, or when we helped this other person, here's what they said in return. Things like that make a great post on social media, because it really helps people to understand clearly who you are and the kind of impact that you're having on your community, and that's what matters. Okay, so when it comes to social media, focus on being authentic, focus on bringing joy to the conversation, focus on being helpful. Be helpful. Okay, don't just always ask. Give a little. And number four would be, remember, testimonies. One thing that I love, Gary Vaynerchuk, one of my favorite authors, wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And that's from boxing, jab, 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 right hook. So how that translates into social media would be give, ask. Okay? So give something, give something, give something. So that's value. Ask. Okay? That's how you work social media. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to take more questions from users just like you regarding foundational pillars for how you can make an impact. Stay with us.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, and none of us know how to read and write code.
The first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
You're just trying to make something, trying to transfer something from your mind to the computer or to a tablet. It's an experience.
The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You're going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
And welcome back to Build Your Difference. Today, I want to answer a few user-submitted questions from business owners like you and me who are working to make an impact. This question, which I'm really excited about, I think is very nuanced. Here's the question. What role does public relations play in positioning a business or a nonprofit, and how can small organizations effectively utilize PR on a limited budget? Woo! I mean, we're all on a limited budget, right? Especially if you just launched your business, or if you're an entrepreneur or you're running maybe a one-man shop or a small operation. I mean, we are all on a budget. And how can we use public relations to help us bring in customers, to help us bring in and expand our audience? Well, first thing is to understand the role that PR plays, okay? And I like to think of it this way. You have PR, and then you have marketing. PR, public relations, is about informing. Marketing is about persuading. So with PR, it's about bringing information and allowing the receiver of that information to make up their own mind, okay? To see you being proactive, to know that you're at this event, or you're engaged in this way, or you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you have a product launch. Maybe you're issuing an apology for a mistake. Maybe you're making an appearance somewhere. PR is about informing. Marketing is about persuading. Now, let's be real. Good PR does persuade, okay? But it persuades in a very nuanced way, all right? It allows the person receiving this information or seeing you to kind of make up their own mind, whereas marketing is very explicit in its persuasion tactics, okay? So when you're thinking about how to leverage PR, think about what kind of information are we putting out there into the public about our business? How are we positioning our business in our community? Are we involved? Are we engaged? Are we helping? Are we participating? Maybe there's a local food drive. Maybe there's something you could participate in at the library. Are you giving workshops? Are you offering a free course? Maybe you're an organization or a nonprofit that might have some funds set aside to offer scholarship opportunities for individuals in the community. These types of events, these types of actions, when announced to the public, is PR. And that PR, by its nature, is persuasive, because it's positive. It's positive PR. It's saying, here, look what we're doing. We're doing good stuff. We're doing good stuff for the community. We're making a difference. We're out here doing good stuff. Now, we're not specifically saying, hey, come buy our products, but we are saying, we're doing good work for the community. And if that matters for you, maybe you might want to look into our business a little bit more. Maybe you might see something you like, okay? And all that's sort of said without being said, okay? PR informs. Marketing persuades. So marketing, that's going to be your commercials, that's going to be brochures, flyers that are very specifically wanting to get someone to take a specific action, a call to action, okay? If you are running a commercial, your commercial is probably going to be, call us now, or buy our product, or our product will make you feel great. And another thing I want to point out there is that people make a lot of purchasing decisions based off how they feel. And they use their mind and their intellect to justify those feelings. So marketing, you're going to find, typically is leaning towards a particular emotion, or looking at instigating an emotion or inspiring an emotion in the viewer. Whereas PR isn't. PR is more information-based, okay? So I hope that helps. I want to encourage you, especially if you're a nonprofit, especially if you are an organization that's focused on community engagement. PR really is your friend. Public relations is your friend. And when you're out there engaged, those are a lot of opportunities that you can leverage just by pushing out press releases that show that you are a positive member of the community. That alone can make a big difference between whether someone decides to learn more about you or learn more about a different organization. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. Can you share tips for aspiring authors on how writing a book can enhance their credibility and impact within their community? Well, listen, writing a book is probably more accessible today than it has ever been. Now, the nuts and bolts of it are still relatively difficult, in the sense that you got to sit down and you got to write a book. You got to write something. But once it's written, you have so many options. You can do self-publishing. You can publish directly to a blog, to a website. You can You can go out and get facilitated self-publishing, which is where professional publishers help you to publish your book, but through self-publishing channels. There's so many accessible options for you to take the knowledge that's in here and get it out there in a book. But why would you do that in the first place? I would say that a book really allows people to engage with you in a way that they probably really wouldn't be able to otherwise, and that would be passively. Okay, let's say you're a consultant and to sit down and talk to you is going to cost a few $100s for an hour or two. Okay, that's going to be accessible for some people, but a lot of people might find that they don't have that the funds to take a risk on whether or not you may or may not be able to help them for that amount of money. Wouldn't it be great if they could take a small investment, just a small risk, maybe 10 or 12 bucks, maybe 20 bucks, and buy your book and learn about your approach or learn about your ethos and how you see things. And then from there, make an educated decision on whether they think you're the right guy or the right gal to help them with their problem. A book, in this case, is an incredible sales tool because it's like giving them a passive ticket to the show where they can engage at any time, whenever they want to, without needing to schedule anything, and they can learn as much as they're willing to learn from within that book. And if they want to learn more, they can call you. Okay, so with a book, have your authentic voice. Make sure that you're providing easy solutions, and make sure that it's DIY, something that the reader can take and do themselves. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to answer a few more questions from users like you regarding foundational pillars for making an impact. Stay with us.
What about my privacy?
It's protected.
And the music I listen to. Protected.
What about how I wear my hair?
And the things I say and write?
The Constitution protects your rights.
It isn't an old, fading piece of paper.
It's a living document.
The Constitution says there are 3 branches of government.
So we're kind of like the 4th branch of government.
We are the future of America.
Find out how you could become part of Constitution Day.
For me.
For all.
For real.
Constitution Day is every day.
And welcome back to Build Your Difference. Today, I want to answer a few questions, a few user-submitted questions from business owners like you and me who are working to make an impact. The next question is, in what ways can entrepreneurs use video content, to tell their stories and engage with potential customers or supporters effectively? Man, this is important, because we are in an age right now where video really is the primary content medium. Okay, I mean, did you know that YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world? Second only to Google. I mean, they're both the same company. But YouTube, people are on YouTube searching for all kinds of answers to questions. And if you have video content that can help provide solutions or answers to their questions, YouTube is the place to go. And YouTube is the place to be found. So if you're producing video content, the thing that I want to stress to you, and this is so important, is understand that you're using video. You're not using the written word. So show, don't tell. Show. It's all about showing. All right? How can you provide examples? How can you show how you, maybe you want to show video about a customer interaction. Maybe you want to show a day in the life of your store. Okay, maybe you've got a brick and mortar store and you want to show a day in the life. What's it like when you come in the morning, you open up the shop, and you begin engaging with the first few customers who come in? Show, not tell. Maybe you run a bakery If you run a bakery, show what goes into the process of making some of your your customers' favorite baked goods. Maybe you run a consultancy. What is it like as you're engaging with the customers, you're sitting down with them, and assuming you got to get their consent to be on video, but if they do consent and they're on video, what's it like when you're giving a consultation? How does it make that person feel? How do you help people to break down and break down their questions or their concerns or their problems and provide solutions? Okay, so it's all about showing, not telling. That's the advantage of video. And if you're producing video, if you're using video to market your business, then you want to make sure you're leaning into that. Okay, lean into showing and not telling. You're gonna tell, but video is all about showing. So lean into it from a visual perspective. Okay, let's move into the next question. What steps should an entrepreneur take when preparing an action plan to ensure they make a meaningful impact in their community? All right. Well, I have a very interesting strategy that I'll share with you, and if this resonates with you, I hope it does. And that strategy is break everything down into threes. Everything into threes. My little shortcut is that every task has a beginning, middle, and end. So every task has a story. It's a beginning, middle, and end. What's the beginning, middle, and end? And I will break down any plan or any thing that I know I need to accomplish or I know I need to do into at least those three parts: a beginning, middle, and end. Then I'll break down each of those into further stories. So I have my beginning task. All right, well, what are the 3 steps I need to take to accomplish that beginning task? So I'm constantly breaking down these tasks into their subsequent 3 tasks, okay? And then building off of that. So to me, this helps to make action planning a lot more accessible. It helps me to not feel overwhelmed with tasks that might be, gargantuan, or tasks that might make me feel, like, whoa, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this or how I'm going to accomplish this. But if I take the time to break it down into at least a beginning, middle, and end, and then break each of those down into further beginning, middle, and ends, I'm really breaking it down to something that I really can accomplish at least one small thing every single day, slowly but surely moving up that ladder, okay? And I think that would be really helpful. So if you're looking to make an action plan, if you are looking to prepare a plan that'll help you to better engage with your community or to introduce new success tactics in your business, I would say look at the obstacle and look at the goal. Break down the plan into 3 simple steps, and then break those steps down into 3 further steps, okay? And then take each step one at a time. Okay, now I'm going to leave you with one more question. I believe we've got time for just one more question. Here it is. How can entrepreneurs identify tasks they should delegate to team members, and what are the best practices for effectively doing so? So, one of the challenges that come with being an entrepreneur, I would say, is knowing when to delegate and not taking on the burden of doing every single thing yourself, because you may feel like that's the only way to get it done to your level of expectation or quality, but also you're spreading yourself so thin, you end up getting burnt out. You realize you can't possibly keep up with demand if you're doing everything yourself. So you've got to have a strategy on how you can know when to delegate. No exceptions, okay? So the way I look at it is as 4 pillars. Again, back to 4 pillars here. The first pillar is this something only I can do? Am I the only person who can do this task? Or is it possible for other people in my organization to do this task? So that's the first pillar. Only you can do it. The next pillar is now. Does it have to be done now? The next pillar is, can it be done later? Does it have to be done now or can it be done later? And then final pillar is, can somebody else do it? I mean, can somebody else just totally just do this? Okay. So I'm looking at, okay, is it something only I can do? I'm going to put a check there. And then does it need to be done now or does it need to be done later? Oh, it can be done now. Okay, check there. So that's I know I'm handling that. But is it something somebody else can do? Check there. Yeah, it is. Is it something that they can do now or later? Well, they can do it now or later. Well, okay, I want them to do it now. Hit check. So I know that that's something I'm going to delegate to somebody else. Okay, and I think the pillars might not be the right visual. I think it's more of a like a grid. Okay, but basically you're looking at, is it something only you can do? And if so, can you do it now or later? And is it something only somebody else can do? Or something that somebody else can do, and can they do it now or later? Look at all of your tasks and think about how you can put them into those categories. And doing so just might save you a little bit of headache. I want to encourage every viewer and reader to reflect on how your unique difference can impact your business, your community, and the lives of those you love. You know, Zig Ziglar once said, we can have everything we want if we just help enough other people get what they want. Now more than ever, we got to step out on faith. We got to build bridges that help connect and support our communities in growing a stronger future. So for Small Business 21st Century and this segment of Build Your Difference, I'm Pierre Walters. Thank you for tuning in.